Hi, I'm Travis. I travel the world producing incredible stories. The world is full of unique people, places, and animals, and it's my goal to make compelling videos that show that. Follow me on this journey to uncover amazing stories from around the world. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to iWonder TV.
I first started making costumes ever since I was like old enough to like use a sewing machine. So probably in like the single digits, probably 10 years old. My first ever costume cosplay was Sarah's Victoria from Hellsing. It's like this like vampire anime, but it was alright. It was kind of terrible. I've done like cinematic costumes. I've done more original costumes. I've done this costume with animatronic wings and all that. Before that, I had this like full body armor from the Power Rangers movie that came out recently, the Rita Repulsa. I did like a spot on one of that. But the most fun costume I've ever made was, I did it in 2 weeks, and it was a gender bend of Immortan Joe. So I did a female version of Immortan Joe. Just another day in the office. And I took that to Dragon Con, and it's the most fun I've ever had at a convention, because people would like bow down to me and they're all like, "Witness!" And it was this giant theater that I was part of just because I slapped on a costume and a voice amplifier. What I love about making like creature costumes is that, I don't know, I like bending the modern reality. I like creating things that don't exist. I want to take like film and TV and kind of like bring it into reality. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be like an FX artist or a practical effects artist, but that's hard to do in the Midwest. You kind of have to go somewhere else to do that. So I just did it for myself. I wanted to build my portfolio. And as I was building my portfolio, I kind of stumbled upon a niche in this like costume accessory business. Ever since we started making the Hoof Shoes, everything just snowballed from there. I think the biggest thing about the Hoof Shoes is that they're so surreal, where it takes your costume to the next level, and there's very little options for footwear in costumes. Like, what are you gonna wear? Boots or heels? Like what else do you got? Or like these weird like boot covers that are real cheap and terrible. I think another element of the hooves is that, well, you not only see them, you hear them coming. You hear the clip, clop, clip, clop, and you're like, what's that sound? You look down and like, oh, there's hooves. So the process of making the hooves, it's kind of difficult to quantify because we go through and like I sculpt the hooves, and well, that takes time. Like the wolf paws took like 40 hours, maybe 100 hours to sculpt because I put in all the fur texture. I wanted to make everything symmetrical because I used one sculpture for the pair, so I want to make sure everything's symmetrical. So like from start to finish, it could take like 100 hours, but when we're reproducing them, it takes a few hours from like start to finish, each pair. So actually I'm gonna go over here, get some powder, pigment powder. So I was tasked with making lilac horns, so I got like 3 different kinds of purple. Let's see what happens with that. And then I dust it into the mold. One of my new products that I recently did was these horns. And I really wanted to go in a different direction and start working from horn to hoof. So how I do this one is that I turn them inside out. Ooh, fancy. Looks like weird, like, alien, but so yeah, I start with that. I lost it. So then I used like a really potent purple last time, So I'm trying to dust that off. And I'll try this gray lavender and see how that turns out. We'll be going on a journey together to see how this looks. I think these horns are like one of the first things that I was like truly inspired like on my own and like with my partner and whatnot to like make something that was kind of for me, you know, where I wanted to do like more cash and carry stuff and less custom stuff. I get to unveil the horns and see how the color turned out. Because it's always a mystery with like depending on the backing. Oh wow, look at that, it's like silvery purple. Look at that. Ooh. There we go. Little nub-nubs. Come get you some little nub-nubs. I just wanted to create something like out of nothing. I just like created the surreal concept of there's this creature and it is in your world now. When I first started doing costumes, like nobody paid me any mind when I was, you know, regular Blair. But when I threw on a costume, like people cared. People actually wanted to know what I was about. And that kind of got me addicted to that concept.
So how's it feel inside there?
Oh, like a wet sock. Like a wet, like my hands are pruny, but with like isopropyl alcohol, so I don't know how that's supposed to work out. Ugh. The things I do for love. So let's start from the top with the werewolf costume. So with the face and the head and the teeth and the claws and all that. So the face is 2 layers. There's an underskull with teeth. It's a T-shaped like harness, so it goes over the top and then it crosses over my face. And so that underskull supports the silicone skin. And so the silicone skin has like wires attached to it over the nose and under the chin, so that when I open the mouth, the lips flare. So that it's like pulleys where it pulls up the lips when I open my mouth, so I have a snarl. I made all the pieces modular so I could put it on and take it off in no time. The first one, it was like I had to break a sweat to put on. This one, it's just like putting on clothes. The boots are separate, the pants are separate, the leotard's separate. It's just like regular clothes except for you're wearing a mask. When I'm being filmed or like going around, I dive into the character just to complete the costume. Like, I don't assume the character, but the character has to be complete with my performance. So when I first put on the werewolf costume, people were saying that I was like moving too much like a snake. I was moving too fluid. So I moved from moving fluid to like more like I'm heavy and I'm moving with force and like I'm a pounce. So the way that I designed the character was mostly like this ethereal, like kind of royalty of werewolves. So it's a civilized sect of werewolves where they have a hierarchy and kind of going from like this queen, warrior queen. And how would that warrior queen move? She would move with force and confidence. She wouldn't be squirrely or hiding. She would move with purpose. So I made a monster costume and I wanted it to be intimidating. And so for the most part, the events that I take it to, most people are intrigued and they're very happy to see it. But if I were to take this out in the wild in like normal human culture, people would just freak out. Like I kind of like the idea of just kind of trolling people and just like drive my car and I just look over and they're like, the f***? But that honestly, that would probably cause an accident. It's probably not good for anybody.